So let's be honest, a lot of WWE fanboys are going to absolutely hate this idea, but we're going to talk about it right here on Destination Pro Wrestling. AEW seems to be adding a commissioner slash general manager to their weekly television show. We're going to talk about this right here, right now on DPW.
You have arrived at your destination.
All right, guys, according to WrestleVotes on Twitter, if you guys don't know this Twitter account, it seems to break a lot of major stories in pro wrestling. And for the most part, the success rate is pretty high. And we're going to be talking about something that was directly tweeted from them. So the link will be in the description to the tweet. But basically, what's being said is AEW will be adding a commissioner to their TV show on a weekly basis. And the rumor name is none other than Taz, which, by the way, Taz is scheduled to appear on January 1st on New Year's Day. For the AEW Homecoming show taking place in Jacksonville. Taz is scheduled to appear. That is something that AEW has advertised. But there's a lot of reasons as to why this makes sense. And I know we hate general manager characters in wrestling, but I think right now AEW is probably the one company that desperately needs it. I'm going to make some sense of it in just a second. But guys, don't forget, you could become a DPW champion starting at $1 a month. Daily videos, pro wrestling news, all this good stuff. Go ahead and click the link in the description. It starts at $1 a month. There's a couple different higher tiers if you guys want to support the show. But most importantly, this is a channel where we talk about the latest in pro wrestling, and your guys' support matters. So just clicking that subscribe button would definitely be appreciated as well. And don't forget to slap that like button. But guys, we got to talk about this because it is pretty interesting stuff. Taz going to AEW, to me, just kind of sounds like a sure thing. I think it's always kind of sounded like a sure thing. We've obviously seen him in AEW as part of AEW Dark. He's made a couple appearances. Now he's actually going to be on the live television show of Dynamite. The idea that AEW is adding a commissioner character to their show makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to tell you why. So as you guys know, with AEW, in real life, the guys who run the company are also wrestlers on the roster. Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson. These guys all have some sort of executive position within the company as EVPs. And, the idea of kayfabe still being alive is actually really challenging because they've come out, on being the elite or whatever, and they've talked about why they can't book matches. For example, this was something that was recently done with Kenny Omega and Pac. Obviously having them go back and forth. He wants to have another match, but he can't book it because he doesn't make that decision. And it's kind of odd that he would say something like this, being that he is the executive vice president. And again, these guys had started the company. I don't think they knew how to separate their real life roles with the company and separate that from television. And I think pro wrestling fans are so smart where it's obvious that these guys are in that position. So the idea of AEW actually introducing a commissioner makes a lot of sense. This commissioner has all the booking powers, all the creative powers. It makes more sense for why Kenny Omega can't book his own matches, why Cody Rhodes can't book his own matches. And I think there's a little bit more dynamic storytelling that could be done with a commissioner character. And I think AEW is smart enough to not do like the Vince McMahon thing, right? Like the evil boss storyline. I don't think that's what we're going to see. I think we're just going to see something that's logical that explains why matches are being put together the way it is. I think Taz, he's obviously just finishing up his job with CBS Sports. It makes a lot of sense for Taz to go in this role. He's great on the mic. He's great as a character. I much rather see Taz commentate Raw or SmackDown, but if he's going to have a role with AEW, I don't want to see him as an enforcer. I don't want to see him as a wrestler. I don't want to see him do anything literally other than just be the commissioner. This way it can make some logical sense as to storytelling, as to why matches are being put together. And I know one of the responses I might get in the comments is, well, don't the records matter? And they do. But at the same time, too, Chris Statlander has had quite a few matches, maybe 3 or 4 matches. She's going up for the women's championship. And, as soon as AEW could pivot towards that, obviously Brie Baker, B. Priestley, like those things weren't necessarily working out for them. Chris Statlander could very well become the next women's champion. And I think that is something that AEW is going to do very, very quickly, maybe even as soon as Revolution. So the idea that wins and losses matter, they absolutely do. But why is this person who has a good record and this person who have a good record, like, why aren't these things being logically told? And I think having a commissioner who could justify their decisions. And then, of course, you could have wrestlers kind of do the storytelling thing with the commissioner. If they're upset, maybe they are bragging about their record. Hey, I'm undefeated. Why didn't I get this? Like, I think it's going to create a dynamic that it's going to help AEW make a little bit more sense for the average viewer. Keep in mind, in pro wrestling, there's always been an authority figure. For a very, very long time, it's always been that way. AEW kind of needs one. And AEW needs one more than WWE because AEW does go with the policy of wins and losses actually mattering. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below, but Taz is expected to become the commissioner, and I'm excited to see what happens. So let me know what you guys think down below. And don't forget to slap that like button, drop a comment, and click that subscribe button. My name is Anthony from Destination PW, and I'll see you guys next time.
You have arrived at your destination.